gonna do another VOD review. This time we're gonna be analyzing Deft. Um, Deft is one of the best ADCs, arguably like top 3, top 5. He's very interesting in the fact that he plays super aggressive, especially in the laning phase, which I find very fascinating between the Korean ADCs. They all play super aggressive to a point where you're like, why is he doing that? It makes no sense. He's playing like a bronze player, just auto attacking them any chance they get. But there's there's uh there's a reason why they're so calculated and aggressive. As you can see in this lane, it's a poke versus catch lane. Zaya wants to catch, Ezreal wants to poke, and they're just winning that game. No point in fighting the cat, because she could just attach back, and they win that fight easily. Let's see what happens. So we have an engage by the Rakan on the cat. Hits the cat. So now Rakan's engage is on cooldown. They're only level 2, so they only have 2 abilities. He would use half his abilities, basically. Ignite is down. So Ezreal has nothing to fear. Ignite is down. Rakan's engage is down. The cat is getting focused. So, and Zaya's in range of Ezreal. So Ezreal should be hitting the Zaya right here, which he is. And what this does now is makes it so the cat could just fucking run away. Because if the Zaya wants to commit for the kill, then she has to die for it. So this is just simple retaliation trading. If your support gets engaged on and cooldowns are wasted on them, then you should not. Most people would just run away. Oh, my support got caught. It's over. But the right thing to do is be like, oh, they used everything on my support. I could kill them. So it's a change in mindset that people like usually lower ADCs. Once they change that mindset, they usually pass their plateau. So back again, support is getting engaged on. So what should you be doing? You should be retaliating on their ADCs since they use all the cooldowns. So and then you got heal off. And Ezra just gets a kill. Lacan should get away. So this is just like a basic 2v2 fight. The only way they could have possibly won that in any way is they kill the cat with the Zaya E. I don't know what it's called, but it stuns them. But since they couldn't do that, Zaya had no reason to chase that. She just literally just walked to her death. They could have just took that nice trade and just walked away. Instead, Zaya just died straight. Skip with this. We should be pushing it in. This is interesting. So instead of backing after pushing that wave in, they push on this tower and they stay because they see that the Rakan is low. They possibly could get a kill here. Nah, never mind. They just back as they should. They TP back to lane. Like this combo is just super good with the TP with the cat because we saw before that the Rakan got chunked, and the Rakan is trying to like get some CS that was a miss, or just absorb that XP from those 2 waves that crash on the turret. So in doing so, he stayed behind, but now the Ezreal TP'd, so now it's back to being a 2v2, and the Rakan still has no health. And if he does try to back, then it'll be 2v1, and then they could call for the jungler to dive them. So Rakan has to stay. So having TP actually applies a lot of pressure during the early game, especially with Ezreal, because once you get your Sheen and you instantly get back to lane, it's over. You just do so much poke damage, and that's what he's just doing. He's literally playing up front of his minion line. Um, does the QE combo, because a lot of times as Ezreal, if they're behind their minion waves, they think they're safe from your Q. But the easiest way to exploit that is just land your WE combo. If you but in doing so, you may leave yourself open to getting engaged on, because once your E's on cooldown, there's no escape. But the Rakan is not here since he's back, so that was safe to do. That's all you're looking to do with Ezreal. Just land your Qs to get that klepto. And if you see a opportunity to hit your WE combo, you should go for it. Just push it. Get some vision. Rakan should be here soon, so there's no point in like going for a dive. Their Lee Sin is bot, and their Zaya's low, so Lee may look to come down and make a play if he's any good. Look who it is. Right on time. Yeah, they don't have enough minions to dive right here. If Lee hit that QE part, could have went in, but it was still a risky play because the Zaya Rakan combo is ridiculously strong early game because all the CC they have. Zoe now and Lee are coming back. They really need to dive this. They're poked out. They have so much pressure on the map. There you go. Now they get denied a shit ton of XP and gold. This is just like the Reckless video with Lucian. This is what all high elo players are able to do. In laning phase, the most important thing for you to do is develop an advantage. And the best way to develop an advantage is usually through CS. And how you develop a CS advantage by denying them CS. And how do you do that? Put them in situations where they can't CS. That's either killing them so they can't, and you push it under the wave under the tower and they can't farm that, or trade aggressively when they go for CS. And that's what Ezreal has been doing. He's been playing in front of his minion line to poke them and zone them off the minion waves. But Zaya has been doing a good job of keeping up with farm, but being susceptible to poke and being killed or zoned off the turret, and then you're getting denied a golden XP from the minion wave crashing to your turret. That's when you start losing the lane. And this is what pro players are really good at doing: setting up situations where the minion hits the tower and you can't farm it. And like he just continues to poke away. And he doesn't care. Well, I understand his decision making here, because he's calling for the game from the lead, because the lead is in the river. So if there is a 3v3, they can fight it. But the Lee Sin goes mid for I don't know what. Yeah, this is more like miscommunication. It looked like the Deft wanted to fight a 3v3 here, but they didn't, or a 2v3, but they didn't realize Nidalee was there. So this is just coming down to vision. You don't really want to play aggressively when A, you don't have deep vision on bot lane, and B, you don't know where the jungler is. And basically, they didn't have A or B, so they were just boned. So that was just a misplay. And most people don't see that as a misplay because a lot of lower elo players, they fight when they see an advantage, but they don't really think about all the players as a whole in the game. Because you still, as bot lane especially, you really need to think about your mid laner and your jungler. Because if your jungler is on the other side of the map and your mid laner is getting pushed on the turret, then you're not going to get any help. And if your mid laner is getting pushed on the turret, that means he has free reign to roam. And if your jungler is top, then you don't know. If you do get dived or anything, you're not going to get help. So it's really important to just watch your map, know how your teammates are playing, what they're doing, so you could play around them. Even though you're playing 2v2 bot, you still need to incorporate your teammates. And this is also another advantage that you could build on in bot lane, is just plate advantage. I discussed this last video, but usually the lane that is pushing would the lane that is pushing to the enemy turret is usually gonna build a CS advantage because they're gonna deny a few minions through just minions that you can't kill while it's getting hit on the turret. Because sometimes the minions could have certain HPs where and the turret chunks them so they can't get last hit. So you're literally setting up situations where it's impossible to get that last hit. So even if you're the best player in the world, you can't even get that last hit. So pushing it into them is usually beneficial, but as I said last time, you're susceptible to ganks. And this is exactly what is happening. Usually with Ezreal, you want to push it in, since you're heavily reliant on poke, and you have an ear for escape to escape ganks. The only thing you need to watch out for is your lack of vision. And if you look at the bottom of the map, they got no vision, and they're pushing it under the tower. So one, they don't want to fight. They want to push this in and get vision, which I think that's what they try to do. They try to back off. They really weren't trying to fight this, but it was really too late. The Nidalee already ganked them because they didn't have any vision. If they really had even the shallowest ward here, they would have caught this. But now they gotta commit for the fight and they just die. So yeah, what could they've done? They push this in, right? And they have an opportunity to ward right here. Someone should go up to the river. I think the problem may be because the cat didn't have wards because someone warded that bush right there, which is a bad play. When you don't have any vision of the chai bush or the river, you do not want to put a ward down at that push down bot, because the river wards take priority because you need to know when the ganks are coming. And putting that ward there is useless because you're not gonna you're gonna be pushing it under their turret, so that ward is just useless. The only thing it's good for is the TP, and TP top is down. So yeah, this is just another mistake with like miscommunication and lack of vision. You mostly lack of vision. That's really the downfall with a lot of Deft players, is he plays super aggressive, but this leaves them open to ganks a lot. He is putting a lot of pressure bot, and they know that the net is bot. That's 1+, but you don't want to be feeding the jungler in the ADC. TP's bot, basically should be a kill. Lee is coming down and they just sandwich them. Get two. Now it's GG bot. Did he get? I don't know if he got shutdown gold. Oh, Ezra didn't even get any of those kills, but it's still GG bot because look, once again, they're gonna get denied golden XP because the minions are gonna crash. So they probably could deny 2 whole waves. That's 12 minions. That's 12 minions of XP and gold that the Zaya cannot get now. One of them, and one, no, even more, 13 because there's the goddamn canyon. Zaya may catch some of the CS actually because the canyon wave just eats a bunch of turret shots. So watch, she's gonna start hitting the canyon minion. Yeah. So she only missed a wave in 1 minion, so about 7 CS of golden XP. This should be a pretty big advantage once Deft backs because he's probably gonna finish his man immune. Because you gotta remember, Ezreal doesn't really spike that hard early game because he has to buy tier. So it gives a little wiggle room for Zaya, even when behind, can still be strong. We see Ezreal wastes his ult. I don't really like when players do this, but what he does here is he goes into the bush, so they don't have vision of him, and immediately as he steps in the bush, he ults. Usually players don't expect this, and they just take a free ult. I don't know. Did he get hit? Let's see. I don't think neither of them got hit, so it was pretty much a waste of ult. It's smart. It's a smart thing to do, but you want to do that when the wave is like right down the middle and they're a little closer. Yeah, this shouldn't be a kill. Ezreal still has his E. We're kind of too far. And Ezreal could always flash too. So this is gonna put pressure mid. Zoe could crash the minions down middle, and now Zoe could gank bot. Like, think about it. If the LeBlanc roams down, that means the Zoe is pushing it down their turret, and this gives Zoe opportunity to roam up or down. So when you get ganked, right, and you survive it, this gives opportunities for your teammates. Because Zoe just denied the LeBlanc a whole wave, right? And now Zoe has a opportunity to gank. Now Zoe doesn't opt to go bot because we don't know where bot is, and Zoe of course wants to catch his wave. They're just checking where bot is. They don't know if they're in the camping in that bush. If they walked up there, the Rakan could have just initiated, jumped in, and ulted. It's pretty scary because once you get CC'd, Zaya could just root you. So you get CC stacked and you're just dead. It doesn't even matter if Ezreal has E, he just can't move. Like, watch this, like, Zaya was too far so he couldn't get the root, but you just can't move. So he played it well. He was just out of range. He eased instantly, and then the cats all stuns them, so Zaya has to position away. So that's why Zaya couldn't get the root. Zaya had to walk around the ult. So just Eing immediately was the right play. Even though it made kind of telegraphed or made it super easy for the Rakan to land his stun, because that's the only thing Rakan has to watch out for, because if I jump in, then Ezreal just ease out. But since Ezreal ease instantly, then it gives me the opportunity to get a free stun, which he does. So Ezreal going for the E immediately is actually a bad play. He should have hold on to his E, right? And then, because once you have your E, you should never get hit by the stun. if you have the reaction speed. So yeah, he kind of. I think him using his E preemptively just kind of fucked him, but it didn't matter because Rakan wasted his flash for that, and that just makes it so his engage a lot less strong because Rakan is very reliant on flash, and they could kill him. And he dies. Oh. Like he knew, fucking, she was there. That vision. But I think he was just soul tunneled on their bot lane. He's fine. So we see just Deft, one of the best ADs in the world, and we just saw him die 3 times, and it was just all related to tunnel vision, tunneling, and having a lack of vision. So being aware of your surroundings and what's going on the map is super important, and even the best players fail to do this at times. Not Ezreal is just strong. He has his Iceborne Gauntlet. The only thing he needs to wait for is to stack his mana immune, and once that's stacked, is GG. He already came out ahead in a lane that he should be even or behind in, because Ezreal has a pretty weak early game, and he isn't really ahead by too much, but he's strong. ECS pretty well, has 3 assists and a kill. Just wastes his all again. Bad. We see him E in aggressively here. This is one thing, once you get a gauntlet, what Ezreal players do is a lot of times you get opportunities like this where you just ARAM, but one of their enemies, champions, step up a little too much, and what Ezreal is able to do is EQ, because once your Q hits them, it slows them, and once you usually when you get around 35% CDR when you level 10, you're able to keep landing your Qs because every time you land your Q, you slow them. So once you hit one Q, you can follow up with another Q and then another Q. Since they're slowed, it becomes super easy to hit them again and again. So when someone oversteps in these kind of like A-Ran situations, you're allowed to E in and go for the Q. But immediately after you hit your Q, you kite backwards because the enemy could engage at that moment. If you see them walking away, that means they're not gonna engage, and you can walk back forward and keep throwing your Qs. So Ezreal has this crazy kit in the mid game with Iceborne Gauntlet, is where you land one Q, and usually it results in a kill. So this is why you see him Eing forward so aggressively, and you're probably gonna see him do this a lot more in the future. This is how you want to play Ezreal in the mid game. Just throw out your Qs, get poke, but more importantly, catch someone out, hit him with the Iceborne Gauntlet slow, and then finish them off. Ezreal has amazing siege just because of his Q. He doesn't have a lot of attack speed and damage to hit these turrets, but just because he could zone people away from the turret, it makes him amazing at sieges. Keep going forward. They're just gonna keep pushing, play for vision. They have dragon up. So we're either gonna have a fight at dragon or they're gonna give it to red team. But I'll find out. Like he's gonna eat, yep. This is another mid game idea that you want to look for as Ezreal. So once you land that W, I tell you, once you hit the EQ combo and you get the slow, they're usually dead. But when you follow it with a W, Your W should usually only be used for your E because your E hits the closest target, and then most of the time when there's a wave like this, when you E, the damage of your E is gonna go to the minions. So you wanna throw your W first and use your E to guarantee that your W gets or your E gets the damage instead of on the minions on the champion. But he lands the W, so immediately what he wants to do, he wants to E forward to get the E damage, proc the W damage, and maybe throw out a Q. And if he hits the Q, then he can fly out with a barrage of Qs because of the slow. So that's what he did. He hits the Q, now he wants forward, hit another Q, and another Q. Since he missed the second one, he backs us off. So you just keep chaining those Q back to back, and you can get a kill. Gonna bag. Get some sustain. Interesting that he got sustained because they don't really have a lot of poke, but he probably should have went for what do you call it? I don't know what's the item called, but once you finish the Lich Bane? No, not Lich Bane. It's the item that Zoe has. I don't know what it's called. I don't know any of the AP items, to be honest. But we should suspect Deft to make some more EQ combos like that, exactly. He's just gonna keep doing that. Nothing really to fight for. Jackson is down, Bane is maybe not. We're only 60 minutes in. I don't know what Aatrox is doing. He's just coming. Now we have a fight starting, so as an ADC, what do you want to do? Hit the closest target, right? But we're playing Ezreal here. Usually with Ezreal, the default as well with any other ADC is just to hit the closest target. But Ezreal has this added feature where he's able to go on the back line. Now, in the mid game, not so much. He really wants to just hit the closest target because he has a lot of damage output coming out of his Q, and he pirate specs pretty well. But towards the late game, when he's not going to have a lot of damage compared to these crit champions, right? So hitting the front line is not efficient because you could throw like 20 Qs and they're going to be a half HP while the enemy ADC has crit and just kill like 5 of your teammates, right? So usually as Ezreal, you really need to push your limits and start attacking the backline because you have the added benefit of having E as an engage tool that also does damage. Plus, you have amazing burst. Now he doesn't so much have that burst because he hasn't finished his man immune or got an AP item. Usually around 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes is when Ezreal could just continuously dive the backline and just instant one-shot a champion. But we're going to see how Deft plays this out. Is he going to opt just to hit the closest target, which he's probably should be doing, or is he going to try to dive the backline? He misses it off completely, which is really important as Ezreal to hit you off. He's just hitting the closest target, playing safe. So he's playing super safe as he should. 2 of his teammates are down, so this is a 3v5. Plus you got the cat on him, so you don't really get anything out of this. See how much damage that did right there? He misses his Q. He doesn't even get his E off. And the W proc just did that bunch. Imagine he had his E up. Oh, he does have it. Imagine hitting your E and your Q there. Now imagine you had an AP item and your menu completed. This gives you amazing potential to dive the backline and just instantly one-shot them. I think that's the biggest mistake that like average Ezreal players make is they play really behind and just throw Qs at the closest target when they should be playing in more of an assassin during team fights. But that's very situational as well. But usually when they have a really strong front line, you want to attack the back line. In this case, the only front line they have is the Rakan and the Aatrox, and Aatrox isn't the most tankiest player, but he does have a lot of sustain. So I don't think he has any need to dive the backline on this comp, but it's still something that any good Ezreal player should employ in their gameplay. I just don't like his freaking ults, man. Like that last play, if he actually had a good ult, he probably could have got a killer too. It's best to use your ult as follow up to an engage or any type of CC, just to get the guaranteed damage. They got Balter for free there. For the next like 2 to 3 minutes, it should be like probably nothing. It's nothing. There's no objectives to take. Just Ezra should just push mid, get vision. That's it. Oh shit! We try to make a play on him. See, this is what I'm saying. This ult is just okay. You hit the freaking Rakan. So what? But you're open. Like when you ult, it gives opportunity for people to engage on you. Cause Rakan right here, if he wanted to, honestly, he could just engage right on Deft and kill him. But he chooses not to. Like using your ult leaves you so open. Like look at this. What if he ulted here? We know they're gonna kite away. We know they're gonna run in one direction. They're not gonna run towards us or sidestep it because they have to run away from us or else we would kill them. So this is like the perfect opportunity to ult, and you get hit for them. Then Lee just gives them a kill. So that Def in this replay, he's been lacking a lot of, it looks like, map awareness, but also his ultimate usage has been really bad. Yeah, he got no value out of it so far. He has a man mute finish, that's big. Link of bat. I think he's going for Gunblade first. See, this is just simple. Like as ADC, it's like a very mechanical role, but the way you play ADC is you just play around your teammates, and usually kills are just gifted to you. You're just there to stay alive and do damage when your teammates are fighting or they get engaged on, and you have range to do damage for free, basically. Usually when you watch an ADC player, they don't really do anything that amazing that you think they would do. You're just hitting the closest target, that's it. Such a scary champ. Look, that's all he did. Just hit the closest target. Just kept out of it. Just kept throwing Qs. No reason to be a superhero. And he ults again. That was actually a good ult. The Rakan was low. He hits a Zaya there. And you're gonna back anyway, so it doesn't really matter if your ult is on cooldown. So he gets his Bork. Oh, so he's going for a less bursty type of Ezreal play and more of a DPS type. When you buy a Bork and you're getting these attack speeds, you don't really like play that backline assassin type of Ezreal. Just more out attack the front line, which is good because someone has to DPS that Ezreal. And if Zoe misses her abilities, then Aatrox is just gonna just tear through everybody. Now we got Baron up, so things are gonna start getting spicy. I don't know what the dragon timer is, but we should see some fights happening soon. Ezreal just continues to do what ADC should be doing, and that's clearing mid. If you're lower elo, your mid laner is probably gonna be here. So as an ADC, this kind of sucks, but you're gonna have to catch waves on the side lanes. So if you see your mid laner is mid and you're mid, that means someone's not catching the side lane. So my rule is, if the side wave passes your river or is at the river, you should go over there and push it. Once the wave is pushed past the river, then you go back mid. So you're able to keep up farm and you're safe. Usually the reason why in higher elo we put the ADC's mid lane, because we could put the support and the ADC mid lane. So we have two people on the map that could rotate anywhere, and they're safe because of the towers. Usually the mid tower are usually the last ones to fall, and you're closest to every objective. So it's like there's so many bonuses, and usually the mid laner is it's harder to kill in the side lane, because you don't want to put your ADC there because you can't 1v1 anyone. So you put your bruisers and your assassins on the sideways because they can't get 1v1 unless they're super far behind. Or lag mobility. Look at that. Simple kills. He sees the opportunity. He just knows that there's no one there because he puts the ward down. Lands the QE. And then just a kill. Like once you land the Q, one Q, you can just follow with another Q. It was pretty risky play because if he didn't burst them down here, then their teammates would have collapsed on them and literally would have did a little more damage. But he made that play specifically because he had the cat on him. So with the cat, you can make super aggressive plays because you get extra healing and damage. Now this is good ult usage. I could say that. Usually when you get CC'd, you still could, or you know you're gonna get CC'd, you could use that animation time efficiently of getting stunned by casting your ult. So basically you have no downtime even though you got stunned. So this is like a very mechanical idea. If you know you're gonna get stunned, throw your ult. It's very efficient. Because uses his flash, right? Yeah, he uses. No, he didn't. He just beat away. And now he has the walls covered, so he can just throw Qs behind the wall. That's what makes the cat and Ezreal such a good combo. He just could keep healing, and he's just so safe. He could still make a play here. Could E in on either one. Yeah, right here. Oh, he doesn't go for it because he's scared of the H-Ack. The H-Ack's no. If you see in the bottom, Zaya should die here, but H-Ack knows that, so he positions himself in the ways. If Ezreal E's in, the H-Ack could jump over the wall. So that's why Ezreal didn't go in there. He opts the kite backwards because he doesn't want that to the H-Ack. Continue to push the wave in. It's a QSS. He just doesn't want to get chain CC by the Rakan to Desire. He probably didn't really need it. I would have probably went for the item that stops healing, just for the H-Shot. if you were going this AD route. So what did we say before? Mid game, towards the late game, you just want to EQ to get these picks because the Q has a slow. You pair it up with the cat. The cat gets a slow, so now you could chain that with your slow with your Q, and you just get infinite sources of slows. So it makes it super easy to land your Qs, and then you just get a kill for free. You land one ability, you land the other ones. That's what they do right here. Italy decides to fight because he lands her spear, but the thing is, people underestimate the cat. They really do. The cat just stuns her and heals him up. It's like that's the problem with the cat is it's hard to play around, right? Because even if you play optimally, like the literally did everything she needed to do, but it doesn't matter because you can't play around the cat. She just presses R and heals. I'm guaranteed to survive. So the Nid, like, obviously should have not won for that. But she probably just forgot the freaking cat was with Ezreal, which most players do. It's really hard to engage on someone who has a cat on. Wow. So right here, the optimum play is the Ezreal. This is a fight we shouldn't be fighting, but if we are gonna fight this, we know that the Rakan has used all his cooldowns on the Zoe, right? So his cooldowns are down, and the only way they could kill Zoe is having their damage dealers move up to hit the Zoe, right? So what Ezreal should do now is attack their backline. Fuck the Rakan. We should be hitting the Xayah. We should be WEing in. We should be using our ult to the backline to either kill them or zone them away enough so our Zoe survives. So we do exactly that. We zone them away. We probably could have got a kill if he landed his Qs, but he didn't. Get the Ajax. Why we got the Ajax? You landed one ability, and once you hit one ability, you hit the rest. Just chain slow. Now we got Baron. They should contest this. They have Smite. If they get this big one, they do. They do die. So they should have won the game off this. Maybe not right now, but with this pressure they have now, it's ridiculous. Let's look at this play again. They land the cat slow, so he wants to follow up. Hits the W, so now if he E's in, he gets guaranteed damage. Procs it with his Q. So now the LeBlanc is chunked to half. And Ezreal is really tanky since he has the cat on them, and he has a overheal shield that the cat shield, I don't even know. So it doesn't even matter because LeBlanc can't. If you can't kill one shot someone as LeBlanc, you shouldn't go in. Because usually you have to use your mobility to go in, and once you do that, you can't use it to get out. So LeBlanc just suicides here. Again, this is the same thing with the Nid. They think they could kill the Ezreal, but they can't because they underestimate the cat. And usually they underestimate the Ezreal burst. So most people don't expect the burst coming at Ezreal. Push the top. They want to back here, but a fight breaks out. I don't think they should be fighting this, but yeah. I don't know why they fight like, we have no one here. We have Zoe and our Silas bot side of the map. So it's a 3v. We don't know anyone else in the map, so we suspect this is a 3v5. That's how we should think about this. And we shouldn't be fighting a 3 for 5, especially since we haven't backed and bought any items to reinforce this advantage we got. Because we probably have like thousands of gold right now. Just look at the way they're playing. They're just playing so aggressively. We know they're committed for this. We know the Rakan is kiting behind us and sandwiching us, which is the scariest thing because Rakan could ult and CC multiple people at the same time. They tried to burst the Aatrox down. They couldn't do that and just ended up just costing their life. Especially since Ezreal uses his E. His E is down. Now what could Rakan do? Just jump on him for free. Can't E away from him. He dies. So they just threw a lot of pressure, whereas specifically when you have Baron buff, you really don't want to die with it because you can't use it. And now you're dead for what, 30-40 seconds? That's 30 or 40 seconds your team cannot pressure with Baron buff. So just dying with Baron buff is just the stupidest thing. You just waste so much pressure. And now everyone else dies. So basically that Baron was useless. They could have won off that Baron. Now they can't because they threw. It's so important not to die with Baron buff. And you shouldn't be dying with Baron buff since you're so much stronger. Now it all comes down to a fight. We're 26, 27 minutes into the game. Usually at this point, when all the turrets are down, whoever wins the next team fight wins the game. We got Dragon coming up, so we could have a fight of Dragon. But no one should contest this since it's winter. We should just be pressuring the turrets sideways, make sure the wizard push them. Rakan goes for the play. He misses all his abilities. Like, this is a fight that could win them the game, but since he missed, no one should follow up on this. He dies for free. Aatrox, as I said, they shouldn't went for this, but they still win this fight. Wow. That's crazy. Zoe was not there. How did I lose? He misses his engage. LeBlanc doesn't burst him and he's on cooldown. Is that the Aatrox flank? Damn, that Aatrox flank actually was huge. It's not the whole backline is getting pressured by this Aatrox, so they had to all commit to them, or commit to the Aatrox. And Aatrox just does so much damage and sustain and healing that it took them so long to kill them that by the time they kill them, Zai is able to go in and do massive AoE damage. LeBlanc is able to go in and do massive burst damage, along with the Nilary Q. And they're all funneled in this little area, which makes it so much easier for the LeBlanc to do damage and for the Zaya to do AoE damage. So they fall man down. They had terrible positioning. They let the Aatrox get on their flank, and they fall in a funnel with a disadvantage that gave them a chance to just get AoE damage off on them for free. I think all of this could have just been, like, if they just played with the Zoe, around Zoe, then this would have not happened. Like most, I know lower elo, like they'll spam peeking the Zoe, question marks, be like, oh, why are you here? Oh, Omega Low, our top laner is farming top. No, this is the fault of the other 4 players for deciding to fight without the Zoe. It's not the Zoe fault here. Seeing some dragon pings. Could this be the end? Wow. You get the dragons. Oh shit, who literally dies here? So now we're fighting with advantage. Now it's a 5v4, but our Zaya, or I don't even know that champion's name, our top lane is really low. That's to back off. But Ezreal could 1v4 if you wanted, especially against the squishies. Lands his Q, gets his kill. Lands a slow, so that's another kill. Yeah, that's what Ezreal is so good at doing, is picking off those squishy targets. He has so much range, and he has a slow on his Q, and it does so much damage. And he can just keep on chasing them. Keep going, and he should keep going. Just fuck them. Let's push bot now. They should get this inhib. Now they should be pushing mid. Back, recall. I don't know why he's not recalling here. Looking for a play. Yeah, now he recalls. Now, since it got... Did they get mid? No, they didn't get mid. So now they should just pressure top with their top laner, and then all 4 go mid. Or better yet, have 4 of them go top, and then 1 of them go mid. And then, I mean, you just keep pressuring 2 towers at the same time, since bot has super minions. So it's basically like getting all three of waves, or 3 lanes getting pressure. Oh, and we have Baron buff. So once bot wave gets to their tier 1 or tier 3 turrets, that's a cue for them to start Baron. So they do fight a 5v4. Chance for a kill here. They don't get it. Now they should all run and go to Baron. Now Aatrox has to catch that wave, and he doesn't even have TP. So now they should all run to Baron. Yeah, there's no reason to chase this. They should be on Baron right now. They're playing the vision game. They took way too long. So at this point, you should just play for a bait. Like, clear out vision, camp on the bush, and then surprise them. I think that's what they're trying to do, but since it took so long to get in position, especially if we're chasing LeBlanc, that they just retaliated. They still should win this, though, because Aatrox is still a little late. Ezreal could just 1v3 if he wanted to. I don't know why they're on Baron now. This is way too risky. This just gives them an opportunity to steal it. Nice, wild. That was a good flash. I said before, you don't want to really hit the closest target. You want to start pressuring their back lane towards the end. So you see, he could just be attacking the Aatrox, but look how much HP he has. And he's able to heal back huge chunks of that HP. So why attack the Aatrox when you're able to hit their backline, which does way more damage, and the potential to kill them means they have no damage. So see, most Ezreals right here, they would just attack the closest target, but higher level, higher elo Ezreals, they know when to die. Using the late game is when you want to start diving back. Here, like, he could have went for the LeBlanc, he could have went for the Rakan, he could have went for the Zaya. Anyone but the Aatrox was a good target here. He goes for the Zaya, smart. Uses flash so he doesn't get hit by the LeBlanc. Dodges the chain, and now here, you can hit the closest target. It doesn't matter. Alright, now they're gonna end the game. that's that. So mistakes we saw. Ezra Def really wasn't respecting the vision. He kept fighting when he didn't have any vision on the river, and the tri-bush would let him to getting ganked twice or three times. I don't even know, but those were just free kills he was giving away, and he was kind of throwing the lane since he was building such a CS advantage. Towards the mid game, he just did the cookie cutter Ezreal strat. You just E in, hit a Q, and with the slow, you could just keep um, chain CCing with the Q because of the slow from the Iceborne. And he did that just to get a bunch of free kills. You see, he only had one kill, like 17 minutes into the game, and as it went on, he just snowballed through Ezreal's power spike of the mid game. Cause that's what makes why Iceborne Gauntlet is just so strong because of the slow. You land one Q, you could keep chaining them. So towards the late game, he emphasizes the idea of attacking the backline. Like I said, a lot of lower Eli Ezreals don't know how to do that. They're so used to just attacking the what's in front of them. And then that's that. It wasn't. He didn't do anything too complicated. He made a lot of mistakes, but he still won because he just kept farming mid, got his gold, and with the cat, he was like so impossible to kill. Cause what is Zai gonna do? He has AD with his Iceborne Gauntlet. What is LeBlanc gonna do? He has heal coming from the cat and a shield. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Ezreal.